Thanks for watching ERi-TV, dear viewers. Welcome to our news broadcast. Here are the major headlines. Efforts to control the prevalence of non-communicable diseases in the southern Eritrea region. Training on administration and leadership. Putin and Scholz hold first phone call in 2 years. U.S. national debt surpasses $36 trillion. In our domestic news, Dr. Ali Hallo, head of the Ministry of Health in the southern Eritrea region, reported that significant efforts are being made to control the prevalence of non-communicable diseases, particularly diabetes, through medication and public awareness initiatives. Dr. Ali presented the reports at an event organized on 14 November in observance of World Diabetes Day under the theme Treatment of Diabetes Patients Everywhere. Mr. Tasfalem Takeh, chairman of the Diabetes Patients Association in the region, emphasized that the best way to manage the disease is through regular physical activity and urged patients to incorporate it into their daily routines. Ambassador Mohammed Said Mantai, governor of the region, stressed that diabetes awareness programs should not be the sole responsibility of the association. He called on all members of society to actively participate and contribute to these efforts. A training program on administration and leadership was provided to workers from various government institutions in the Haggaz subzone. The training covered key topics including concepts of administration and leadership, manpower allocation, leadership and motivation, program implementation, resource distribution, coordination and cooperation, innovation and creativity, control and evaluation, reporting, documentation and time management. Mr. Mikhail Girmay, the trainer, stated that the objective of the training was to develop and enhance the capacity of government employees to deliver timely and effective services to the public. He emphasized the significance of the training and called for its continuation. Mr. Idris Mohammed, administrator of the subzone, noted that the training would play a vital role in addressing existing shortcomings in the subzone and commended the organizers for their efforts. Colonel Kibram Narayo, Director General of Administration and Finance in the Ansbar region, highlighted the importance of such training for improving the skills of workers. He urged the trainees to implement the knowledge gained in providing efficient and timely services to the public. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned now for the international news right after the short break. Russian President Vladimir Putin and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz held their first phone call in nearly 2 years yesterday. The two leaders discussed the Ukraine conflict and potential peace talks between Moscow and Kiev, according to German media reports, citing a government spokesman. The talks between the two leaders addressed matters of war in Ukraine and Berlin's support to Kiev. German officials told TASS news agency that the two leaders have agreed to stay in touch. Prior to the phone call, the German Chancellor also contacted Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky and intended to talk to him again after his conversation with Putin. Friday's call was the first direct communication between the two leaders in almost 2 years. According to the Kremlin, the last time Putin and Scholz spoke over the phone was on December 2, 2022. America's national debt has surpassed $36 trillion for the first time in its history. The U.S. Debt Clock, a website monitoring the nation's finances in real time, reported yesterday. The figure grew by nearly 6% from January to November, increasing by $1 trillion in less than 4 months. In late July, the U.S. Treasury announced that it has surpassed $35 trillion. The rate of accumulation appears to be growing, as it was $34 trillion in early January and then grew by $1 trillion in less than 6 months. The U.S. Treasury has not officially confirmed the new data yet. In August, the Congressional Budget Office said in its report that it expects the debt to reach a record of over 106% of GDP by 2027 and eventually rise to 122% by 2034. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) warned in July that high fiscal deficits and the ongoing increase in the U.S. public debt to GDP ratio pose risks not only for the U.S. but also the global economy, and stressed the pressing needs for front-loaders, fiscal adjustments. Tech billionaire Elon Musk, who President-elect Donald Trump has tasked with finding ways to boost government efficiently in his upcoming administration, has warned that the U.S. is at risk of defaulting on its debt. Please stay tuned now for the recap of tonight's headlines. Efforts to control the prevalence of non-communicable diseases in the South Eritrea region. Training on administration and leadership in the Ansbar region. Putin and Scholz hold first phone call in 2 years. U.S. national debt surpasses $36 trillion. And that was our news for tonight, dear viewers. It is good night from us.